is that Mr. Fai is originally from Kashmir and he is settled in America for the last...
Saifuddin Soos, a senior minister, doesn't know what Fai is all about.
I know that,
then he's no right to be in the government.
I know from the press that he runs American Kashmiri Council. Beyond that, I don't know. And if now Americans want to investigate, they will come before the people with a report, and you could also wait for that.
So Sahab, you are not that innocent and you are not that uneducated that you don't know what is the role of Fai in America. It is a tragedy that a person of your stature, your experience in politics, don't know what Fai is. When I as a common man know what is Fai all about, how come it's possible that you don't know about it?
Arnab, I have to tell you that you cannot say that Government of India, why Government of India did not take action. We are a democracy. If Sachar and Kuldeep Nair received an invitation, sometimes full facts are not known and nobody could stop their visa, nobody could stop their passport because they are very eminent citizens. But after what they have learned, they may be careful in future. You cannot impute motives.
Okay,
so you must know that we are a democracy, and if Kuldeep Nair, Rajendra Sachar and many others went to the seminar,
but what about
they can't be faulted of
Gilani in 2005 under the pretext of going for a Hajj Yatra, Hajj pilgrimage? He was given a visa after decades. All the norms were cancelled. Syed Ali Shah Gilani was given a visa to meet Ghulam Nabi Fai and Syed Salahuddin.
So,
why was this done?
My question now to Sajad Lone is, I am coming to Mr. Dowala. Mr. Sajad, do you know about this man's fake seminar circuit? Have you heard of Mr. Fai? And do you think the Kashmir agenda is being hijacked as a money-making operation somewhere? Mr. Fai was a businessman. He's making money using the Kashmir agenda. And he has many willing participants, who are willing to be beneficiaries of his ISI funds.
Arnab, I disagree with you that he was a businessman. He had a passion. I mean, he was a Jamaat man when he was in Kashmir before he left for United States.
Yep.
He had his agenda. He was not simply a businessman. He was a dedicated, passionate man for his cause.
Mr. Sazawal,
which was essentially make Kashmir a part of Pakistan.
Mr. Sazawal, with all respect, you know this and you said it yourself, he was not doing it for free. He was taking a huge amount of money, the hundreds of thousands of dollars exchanging hands every few months between him and the ISI. And this money, the beneficiary of this money to a large extent were a lot of Indian participants who the ISI personally chose to fly down to these seminars. Yes, Sajjad, has Kashmir been made a cottage industry?
Arnab, I will tell you that when it comes to Kashmir, there are three perspectives. There is an Indian perspective, there is a Pakistani perspective, and there is a Kashmiri perspective. I know Mr. Fai personally. He is from Kashmir. And he, to be very honest, represented a very strictly Pakistani viewpoint on Kashmir, and he had his own wills. Whatever he does, I cannot comment on that, but that should not in any way dilute the just aspirations of the people of Kashmir. The Kashmiri viewpoint is certainly distinct, and what he does in his personal capacity, whether he is guilty or he is not, that should not dilute in any way the larger issue of Kashmir.
Sajjad Sahab,
so I think you need to link the two.
Sajjad Sahab, a very, very honest question, sir. How can you not take a responsibility and say whatever Fai has done, taking money from ISI? ISI is a anti-India, anti-nation organization which works against your country, and you are part of this country. What is wrong is wrong. Why don't you accept this? And if you're supporting him and if you're saying that this is his personal capacity, working against the country cannot be personal capacity at all.
That also,
it has to be a national capacity.
That too, Sajjad, under the clear minute-to-minute guidance
who is this man?
Under the guidance of a Pakistani brigadier general who was his handler, and there were 4 handlers who the FBI has identified. So it's not a man working on his own, Sajjad. I mean, it's not as innocuous as you are trying to make it out to be. This is
if I have understood, if I have learnt my English correct, I did not defend him.
You didn't.
I said
Okay.
it is something which is sub judice, and I said that he represents the Pakistani viewpoint. It should not in any way erode the Kashmiri viewpoint. I can tell you, you call me on TV, I go to many other seminars. I never be invited to a seminar because I never represented the Pakistani circuit. So that is a different ball game altogether. All I'm trying to say is that one man's actions, good or bad, I don't know. I will not vouch for him and I will not agree with what is being said as on date. It's
Mr.
too
Doval.
early. But it should not in any way undermine what's happening in Kashmir. What is happening in Kashmir is different. It's been going on for the last 20 years.
No,
It is not because of
that
people
is
like
exactly
Mr.
what I
Pai.
said.
It is because of the people.
That is exactly
so
what I said.
Make it distinct. Don't try to erode what is happening.
Take a
in Kashmir
position,
because of
Sajjad.
one incident.
Take
That's what
a
I'm trying
clear
to say.
position, Sajjad. That's the only question. Mr. Doval, you've seen the FBI report, Mr. Doval. Just coming to you, sir. You've seen the FBI report, Mr. Doval. And you know the way in which the ISI has been handling this. Is this something we can just ignore and say, here are a bunch of Indians who may have accepted ISI money. What is the big deal about it? Let it carry on. It happens all over.
Okay.
Let Indians fly on ISI money.
In last 20 years, in respect of Kashmir, at the international front, this is the biggest development that has taken place. You should understand that when General Durrani in 1990 and 89 made this plan, it had three components. One component was the political action under which the Hurriyat was created. One was the propaganda action of which there was an internal side and there was an external side. Under the external side, 3 persons were stationed and created: Ghulam Nabi Pai in America with the Kashmir American Council, World Kashmir Freedom Movement with Ayub Thakkar in London, and Indian Council for Human Rights in Brussels under Majid Sambu. All three were being supported, financed by the ISI, just as Hurriyat was being supported and financed by the ISI. And the third component was what they call in their language the militant action or the military action, under which the militant organizations were done. Now, what was the charter which was given to Ghulam Nabi Pai? Number one, to unite all the Kashmiris together, create constituency pressures and build a movement within those countries to change the public opinion. Secondly, maintain close relations
he did not
with the
succeed
Hurriyat
in that
in
goal.
India, get all the information from here, disseminate it amongst the people,
Sir, he did
talk
not
about the
succeed
human
in
rights
that goal.
violations, remain in contact
he did
with
not
the
have the support of
and this was
Kashmiris
a part
overseas.
of the larger operation. Now, we have lost sight of what has happened. It is not that the Americans or the British did not know about it. In this 43-page thing, the FBI has also said that it had its center in London and Brussels and in other parts of the world. Now, the point is this: it is now being realized by the Western powers that the larger Kashmiri operation of the ISI, of which only the terrorism was being taken cognizance of, has got to be handled at a much wider plane, of which the political action, the propaganda action is as important as the terrorist action. And because these people were also the conduits for financing. It's very interesting how the money was coming. They had floated the charities, and the Pakistanis were sending, the ISI was sending them the money. And then they were showing it as the donations being given to the Kashmir American Council or the World Kashmir Freedom Movement. And that is why last year, when $35,000 were caught from his car, he immediately telephoned Ghulam Nabi Pai.
No,
I have been caught and I have given your name.
Mr. Hillary.
And so that mosque then testified that yes, this money was given by them, which actually had come from ISI.
So,
it was a much larger global racket under which there were Hawala transactions, there was
Ministry was
money
aware.
being
Indian,
sent to
Indian
the
Home Ministry was
there
aware.
was
Why didn't the Indian Home Ministry
of,
really act against
communication
it?
equipment and
If
others
you
by
and
these
Mr.
people,
A.S. Dullat and
also
everybody in the
one
Home Ministry was
provided
aware
the
about it,
platform to the
if we
independent
know
political
that the
leaders
Hurriyat
of Pakistan.
One second.
Ghulam Nabi Pai was in Muzaffarabad last year, or late last year, when the Prime Minister Gilani attended the function that was held in his honor.
No.
So all these things were being done at the diplomatic level, at the UNHRC level.
Well, let me ask Arnab. Arnab, why would we think SAFMA is not being funded by ISI on the Pakistani side?
1 minute, gentlemen, 1 minute. 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm coming to all of you.
Propaganda was
1 minute.
nothing but an ISI
I'm coming to all of you. I'm coming to you, Professor Chenna. I know you've been wanting to come in. I just want to ask you, Mr. Hilali. You said we are proud of it, we'll do it more. Doesn't it appear to you you can't do it anymore? The Pakistan has been exposed.
Well,
It cannot operate these cottage industries anymore after this. One by one, all of them will be closed down. What will you do then, Mr. Hilali? How much more money will you spend?
on the contrary, rather than fight, negotiations, seminars, talks, discussions are the way forward. I thought you, being a rational person, should appreciate that. It doesn't matter who finances a seminar. It doesn't matter who in that seminar supports which group, party, option, faction.
Then do it openly.
All that is important.
Then do it
is that
openly.
when
Why
the
hide?
people gather together.
Then do it
Mr.
openly,
they should
correct. Then
Mr.
do it
Hilali,
openly.
Mr. Hilali, then do it openly.
And come across.
No, Mr. Hilali, do it openly.
Listen, well,
Do it
why
openly
don't you
then.
let me finish, my friend? Let me finish.
The question
Let
I
me-
want to
won't
ask is
take
how
too
many
much
of the
your time.
Pakistani journalists on SAFMA are funded by ISI?
Oh, for God's sake, how do I know, number one? It's like saying how many CIA institutions are there funding Indians, or how often have they been infiltrated? Forget about that. We can't do these things. Let's be rational. You want to discuss Kashmir between reputable Indians, reputable Pakistanis, and you want to get together and meet and discuss. It doesn't matter who pays for the rooms. It doesn't matter who hires the chairs.
Of
All
course
the
it
people
matters.
coming are men of intellectual
course it matters, Mr.
integrity.
Hilali.
They sit down, they exchange views and go away.
Of course.
If the ISI is funding something that brings forward peace,
Yes.
you should
I just
support
want to
it
respond to
rather
Mr.
than go
Okay, one sec.
hysterical
Ajit Doval's
and
responding.
xenophobic
Ambassador
about it.
Hilali.
Mr. Doval's responding to you, Mr. Hilali. Go on.
Ambassador Hilali, the briefs which were being circulated by Ghulam Nabi Fai to all the senators, congressmen and other people were being prepared in Apara in Islamabad, ISI headquarters, and that is what is a major charge against him. That is about 4,000 briefs which that they have said up to the 80% of the entire literature and the positions they have taken on the seminars and the papers they read were actually the ISI papers. And the remaining 20%
I'm
were
sorry,
sent to the ISI for approval, and then after due corrections, they were circulated or read.
I have a
My charge is it the voice of the NGOs,
all
think
right,
tanks,
all right. Let's-
academicians,
Okay,
or was
okay,
it somebody
let's accept
that Ghulam Nabi
Mr.
Fai
Hilali,
and his life,
Mr. Hilali,
throughout the world,
Mr.
has
Hilali.
been
My
creating
friend,
this
my friend,
anti-Indian
One minute,
my
propaganda.
one minute. Mr. Hilali,
Let's
Mr.
accept-
Hilali, 1 minute. Let me just tell you, Mr.
Let's
Hilali, 1
accept
minute. Mr.
what-
Hilali, I
Let's
always
accept
lose to
that.
you when it comes to ask a question. I must, Mr. Hilali, please let's not fool ourselves that the ISI is a think tank, a peace-loving think tank. Since when has the ISI become a peace-loving think tank? And if it is a peace-loving think tank, why don't you do it in the open? Why do your brigadier general send surreptitious messages like bad detectives to this man Fai and send him money through Hawala? Do it openly. Do it openly. Then Kamal Mitra Chennai would not
Listen,
go
my
to a
friend,
seminar funded by the
I-
ISI.
Arnab,
Yes,
I
yes.
don't want to discuss the dirty tactics of RAW or the or what you
I'm
consider
telling you the
dirty tactics of ISI. Please understand. Let's rise
whatever
above
doesn't-
that.
whatever doesn't
Let's
suit
talk
you, you
about
don't
the
want to
facts.
discuss.
Let's
Whatever suits you, you want to discuss. If you want to discuss, discuss it out openly on all the issues. Whatever doesn't suit you, you don't want to discuss.
One
Very
minute.
funny.
1 minute. Kamal Mitra Chennai has been wanting to come in. Yes, it's fair I come to you, Professor
Arnab.
Chennai.
Listen, the first thing I want to make clear is that those of us who went to any FI hosted event went there and spoke on what, following Sajjad, would be the Indian Kashmiri line.
Achha.
Secondly,
no, sir, I disagree. There
I
was
find
always,
it
at the end of the
interesting
meeting, there was always a resolution
when
passed, and the resolution
US
was consistently
is quite unhappy
anti-Kashmir.
with,
Okay, let
It
him
was all
complete.
consistently
With
pro-Pakistani.
Pakistan.
Mr. Sadawar, let him
And by
complete.
definition,
That
everybody
suddenly
attending those
a
seminars
major,
was endorsing that resolution.
Okay, let him complete, Mr. Sadawar. 1 minute.
Pakistani element is accused of all sorts of charges. Now, I think we should disinter what has happened to Mr. Fai and what intellectuals in India who are trying to help solve the Kashmir problem, what they are doing. The two are not the same things.
Paid by the
Those
ISI.
who are trying to help out in Kashmir are not agents of the ISI.
I have a question for you, Professor Chana. Professor Chana, I have a question for you. Professor, I have a question for you.